Hi guys, and welcome back. In this video, we will be doing a deep dive into the Mount Sakurajima eruption case study. This is the fourth in a series of videos that I'm creating to cover all the GCSE case studies. Please make sure that you're subscribed if you'd like to receive notification when they are uploaded. Also, let me know whether there's a particular case study you'd like me to cover that is not already on the playlist. Okay, let's get started. Mount Sakurajima lies on the Pacific Ring of Fire. It's on a convergent destructive plate boundary where the Pacific plate, which is an oceanic plate, subducts or sinks below the Eurasian plate, which is a continental plate. Volcanoes found at destructive plate boundaries tend to be very explosive due to having andesitic lava which is rich in silica. So Mount Sakurajima is one such volcano and is high on the volcanic explosivity index, or what is called the VEI as well. Now this measures the destructive power of volcanoes on a scale of 1 to 8. And Mount Sakurajima has a VEI of 6 and is comparable to the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo, which was the second largest, or which is the second largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century and is known for its significant global impact. So since the 1950s, Mount Sakurajima has erupted sometimes 200 times a year. And being a composite volcano, or a volcano that is at a destructive plate boundary for that matter, it has for a long time created many primary hazards for people living nearby, including lava, ash, and volcanic gases. Then the secondary hazards associated with it include mud flows, lahars, and acid rain. Now, as you can see here, you do have a map that is showing that plate boundary there. So you have the Eurasian plate, that's a continental plate, and you have the Pacific plate. And this is a destructive plate boundary because you have a water plate or an oceanic plate subducting rather beneath a continental plate. That kind of plate boundary is very produces very explosive eruptions. Okay, so on to the exemplar exam question here, and this one is a 4-marker and it asks you to state and explain one primary hazard and one secondary hazard of volcanic eruptions. So you have some of those hazards are mentioned here. Okay, we will leave that question because it will be answered in a separate video. What are the dangers and opportunities for living near Mount Sakurajima? So we are going to start off with the opportunities, and the first one we'll be looking at is volcanic soils near Mount Sakurajima. Now, areas near volcanoes normally have very fertile soils, and that is because when the lava, the lava first of all is very rich in minerals because it's melted rock, and we know that rocks contain minerals, and when that lava comes onto the surface of the earth and then eventually cools down and forms soils, those soils are going to be very rich in minerals and therefore are going to be fertile and make very good farmland. And that farmland obviously makes or provides income opportunities for local farmers who will be able to grow crops on very good farmland. Then secondly, we have hot springs and lava flows. Those tend to be a tourist attraction in the area. So there's a lot of tourism in this particular area of Sakurajima, and people get jobs and therefore can get an income from those jobs in the tourism industry. So those are two opportunities there. And then we also have fishing taking place here. So Kagoshima Bay is well sheltered. So that bay is actually this one in between here. That's the bay. So that's water. The rest around it here is land. And then there's the other water here. So you can get into the bay through this area here. And because it's sheltered, it actually makes a good port, first of all. And therefore that can bring goods in and out, and trade can take place, and that can generate income for the local people and for the local area as they ship goods in and out. And then we also have a fishing industry that is thriving in this area. So overall, the area around Mount Sakurajima provides a lot of opportunities, especially job opportunities and income generating opportunities for the local people living nearby. Okay, so on to the dangers then. So we have Kagoshima City here, which has a population of 583,966 people as of July the 31st of 2024. Now, a large eruption of Mount Sakurajima would cause great destruction. So that's a danger for people who are living in Kagoshima City just nearby. Then Mount Sakurajima, once disconnected from the island, was joined to it by an eruption that took place in 1914. Okay, and the volcano hurls volcanic bombs over 3 kilometers from its crater. So that means that you do not necessarily have to be right next to the volcano for the volcano to actually impact you. So if you're 3 kilometers away, then you're within the radius of those volcanic bombs. And you then also have pyroclastic flows that travel over 2 kilometers, and a lot of volcanic gas, or ash rather, is spewed into the atmosphere every year. Now that is ash, and there are also volcanic gases as well, such as sulfur dioxide, that may be emitted into the atmosphere, and those are likely to cause problems, breathing difficulties in the population. And it's not just the sulfur dioxide, you also have carbon dioxide that is likely to be emitted by the volcano. Okay, so on to the exam questions down here. And this one here is a 4-mark question, and it says to explain 2 reasons why people continue to live near active volcanoes. So the idea is to pick out one of these reasons and explain them. Okay, so we'll leave the question because that will be explained in a separate video, and carry on with the case study. How does Japan predict, prepare, and protect against a Mount Sakurajima eruption? Now, these obviously are quite good in terms of answering an examination question, in terms of how effective management in developed countries rather is management of volcanic eruptions. So these here are quite important, and as we talk about them, I'd like you to think about the LIC case study, which is the Mount Nyiragongo eruption, which we did in the last video, and think about what differences there are in the way those 2 different countries at different levels of development are managing volcanic eruptions around them. So in Japan, they use several ways of predicting, preparing, and protecting against a potential Mount Sakurajima eruption. And one of those is tilt meters. So tilt meters are used to detect any bulges on the flanks of the volcano due to accumulating lava below the surface. Now that means that in a lot of instances, before a volcano actually erupts, you're likely to get the ground below the surface of the volcano beginning to fill up with magma, and that leads to a swelling on the surface, and that can be detected using those tilt meters. So the tilt meters will give you an indication as to whether the volcano is becoming active and is likely to erupt. So that is a good way to predict any future eruptions of this volcano here. Then the second one is concrete shelters. Now, we talked about volcanic bombs earlier and falling ash. So in times when the volcano is beginning to be active, those shelters can, or these areas here, or these concrete shelters can provide refuge for people so that they are not hit by those volcanic bombs or falling ash. Then we have seismometers. And these ones here are used to detect and to monitor earthquakes. And obviously, we do know that increased earthquake activity can indicate that there is an imminent volcanic eruption about to take place. A lot of earthquakes actually do precede volcanic eruptions. So that's another way of predicting whether the volcano is nearing an eruption or not. Then we have hot springs as well. Those hot springs, we have talked about them. They are a tourist attraction in the area. And those hot springs are normally monitored as well for any unusual increases in temperature. Because obviously, if you have an increase in temperature, it would mean that there's a lot more volcanic activity and there's likely to be an eruption. So that again is an indicator that can help predict an imminent eruption. Then lava and lahar diversion channels have also been built in the area. So these direct lava and lahars away from built-up areas to avoid damage to buildings and infrastructure. So that's really important because obviously the lava will not end up going into those built-up areas and destroying property. Then we have small aircrafts. So those are used to monitor the gases that are being emitted by the volcano. And obviously, if you have increases in the sulfur dioxide emission from the volcano, that can indicate to you that magma is nearing the surface and that a potential eruption might occur. So an increase of those gases then can indicate to you that the volcano is likely to erupt, and therefore now you can take measures such as preparation and protection. Okay, and then we have eventually evacuation routes that are clearly signposted to make evacuation a lot more efficient. Now, that would help people leave this area here quickly and in an orderly fashion if there was a volcanic eruption that was imminent. Now, as you can see, because there are both opportunity, well, there are a lot of opportunities of living near Mount Sakurajima, then the Japanese government has ensured that they have put measures in place to protect the people who are living there. And this is very, very orderly because it has taken into consideration a lot of the permutations that would be, you know, a lot of the dangers that would be caused by the volcano, and is trying to these methods here will obviously keep the people a lot safer if that volcanic eruption was to take place. So this is a very well organized way of predicting, preparing, and protecting against volcanic eruptions. And this is because we are talking about a HIC, a high income country, which has the money and the resources as well as manpower to prepare and to mitigate against volcanic eruptions. And the reason why I'm explaining this a little further is because this can then be used to in comparison to countries that are LIC countries, and the one that we have done recently is Mount Nyiragongo in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So that is good for comparison purposes. That brings us to the end of the Mount Sakurajima eruption case study. I hope that you have found the information useful. I have also done the LIC volcano case study, which is Mount Nyiragongo in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. You can find that video on the case study playlist or on the suggested videos that pop up on this slide. I'm currently working on the earthquake case studies and will be uploading their videos shortly. Ensure that you're subscribed if you'd like to be notified when they are uploaded. Also, please do not hesitate to send me any questions or case study video suggestions in the comments section below. All the best and see you again soon.